We will now move on to our online research showcase conducted by Ms. Sabeena and Taimoor from Taleemabad and NIETE respectively. The floor is yours.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting us, and thank you, Hamna and Bilal, for your insightful presentations. I'll just quickly give an introduction, and then I'll pass it on to Taimoor. My name is Sabeena, and I started my journey in education around 11 years ago with Teach for Pakistan. And I think जिसको भी Teach for Pakistan का पता है, एक बहुत ही यूनिक इदारा है जहाँ पे you actually get to go into the field not just for a day or two, but for a good 2 years, sit with them, teach them, interact with the community. And I felt that उस तरह का experience जो है वो at least मैंने कभी experience नहीं किया. And one of चीज करने से that was my biggest learning, that a 1 day workshop या 2 day workshop जो कि usually बहुत ज़्यादा prevalent होती हैं, compared to that, actually, going into these communities and embedding yourself, your perceptions change quite a lot. एंड जो थोड़ी बहुत हम लोग टीचिंग इंटरवेंशंस करते थे उसमें एक ह्यूज डिफरेंस आपको नजर आता है. जिस तरह बच्चे आप रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं, they fall in love with learning, and that, I think, that is a huge motivation for an educator. And at that time I decided that I want to do it at scale, and that's where technology comes in. और उस टाइम पे भी काफी एडिक्वल एक इदारा था जहाँ मैथ्स में हम इंटरवेंशंस कर रहे थे with elite schools, not even low-cost private schools, जहाँ पे बच्चों के there were segments of students जिनकी learning level बिल्कुल low है, and because हमारी crowded classrooms होती हैं, teachers and even good schools are not able to give attention to them. Fast forward 5 years, I ended up in Taleemabad, and Taleemabad is a very mission-driven organization, जहाँ पे हम हमेशा अपने आप से यही सवाल करते हैं कि बच्चों की जो स्टूडेंट लर्निंग आउटकम्स हैं वो हम कैसे इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. इट इज एन एटेक, and like Bilal mentioned, that it's very easy to fall into the engagement part of it, जहाँ पे जाहिर है टेक्नोलॉजी की बेस्ट बात ये होती है, स्पेशली प्राइवेट सेक्टर टेक्नोलॉजी, कि जब तक आपको यूजर जो है रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करेगा, अडॉप्ट नहीं करेगा, तब तक वो चीज़ नहीं चलेगी. सो एक मेजर डिफरेंस जो मुझे नजर आया था बीइंग एन एजुकेटर एंड बीइंग पार्ट ऑफ अ टेक्नोलॉजी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, दैट एज एजुकेटर्स हम लोग रिसर्च पे फोकस करते हैं कि अच्छा रिसर्च इन टर्म्स ऑफ एजुकेशन, that okay, this theory works, let's apply. Activity based learning is the next thing, let's apply it there. But the ground reality is very different, especially in low cost private schools. Overcrowded classrooms होती हैं, टीचर्स की बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रेनिंग नहीं होती है और वो नहीं अडॉप्ट करते हैं. जब तक आप सर पे डंडा लेके खड़े होंगे वो शायद कर लेंगे, जैसे ही आप जाएंगे they will fall back into their old practices, especially because आपका सिस्टम भी ऐसा बना हुआ है, आपका असेसमेंट रोट लर्निंग को प्रमोट करता है. So technology has given us a chance that जब स्पेशली आप स्केल करते हैं, आप सर पे नहीं खड़े रह सकते हैं. आपको ये इस तरह की इंटरवेंशन डिजाइन करनी पड़ेगी कि जो टीचर है क्लासरूम में वो भी रेडिली अडॉप्ट करे, उसको भी मोटिवेशन नजर आए, उसको भी इंसेंटिव नजर आए. एंड दैट्स वेयर आई थिंक वी हैव लर्नड अ लॉट being a part of this organization. Taimoor, I'll pass it on to you, and you can share some of the learnings that we have through some interventions.
Okay. So currently, NIET is working with the Federal Directorate of Education Schools. We are currently working in 350 schools, and the basic purpose of NIET is to support and empower our teachers, whom we think that have been in the shadows for so long. As Sabeena said, that we have learned a lot of lessons over the past few years and decades about what works, and it was time that we wanted to work on the scale. So this program began in February, and as a first phase, we wanted to leverage technology to support and empower our teachers, and that was where we onboarded around 4,000 teachers across all primary schools in Islamabad. And then, as we went into the schools and we wanted to support teachers in three different domains. The first one was scripted lesson planning, where we provided lesson plans from grade 1 to 5 across all subjects, all grades, to all the teachers, so that they can be better supported in the work that they were doing. Secondly, we wanted to work on digital teacher training, and in the same NIET application that all teachers in Islamabad now have access to. There were bite-sized teacher training modules. And the third and the most important part, which Sabina also just mentioned, is that we realize that the technology is important. At the same time, we have to work on the fact that this technology can be used to improve student learning outcomes. And that was where I think our third main part of intervention is continuous professional development of these teachers through in-person coaching support. So we have 55 coaches who visit the field every single day, and they cover all these 4,000 teachers. They conduct classroom observations through Teach Tool, and really work on improving and supporting the teachers to improve classroom practices. But I think a very, very important thing stood out for us, and that was that oftentimes the interventions, the things, the advices that we give to teachers is divorced from the context. For example, if a teacher is teaching 120 students in a single classroom, it is very, very difficult for her or him to apply classroom management techniques, right? And that was something that we realized, that we actually don't have the data which will help us to see and visualize the problems across all the schools. And that was the first thing that we wanted to do. That once we started NIET, we wanted to understand that, okay, what does the educational landscape looks like? The school profiling were missing, the digitized student data was missing, the learning levels data was missing. We get once or twice a year a cert test, but that is again not across all the schools. So we wanted to start an initiative where we can gather all the data points pertaining to our educational landscape on a single platform. Hence, we started to build school profiles, gathering data points such as student to teacher ratio, student to classroom ratio, internet and smartphone access, other interventions in Islamabad. And then across the span of 2 months, we digitized and verified the student data of around 90,000 students in all the primary schools of Islamabad. At the same time, we embedded this data into our existing dashboard, where we are able to continuously track the lesson plan usage and teacher training module usage of the teachers, so that when a coach, let's say, visit a school on a weekly basis, they can really understand that, okay, if a teacher is has taken this teacher training, why is it not implemented in the classroom that I am observing? So the main idea was to merge and embed all of these data points, ranging from school profiling to teachers lesson plan usage to classroom observation data, to really understand that what is happening and where things are not working. Is the teacher lacking skills? Is the teacher lacking mindset? And then how does the coach work with the teachers to solve that challenge? At the same time, we also wanted to reduce the workload of the teachers, and to really free their schedule. So that is why we also launched, in the same very platform that they are using, an exam generator, where a teacher can use a 10,000 plus questions data bank to devise assessment for any grade, any subject, any topic, ranging from class test to annual exams. And again, this is also categorized according to different thinking levels, as per the Bloom's taxonomy. So the teacher really got empowered as to how their workload can be reduced, and they started seeing value. And I think one other thing that I think is probably the most important contribution is that we were not able to get very regular, frequent learning data. So a teacher, a principal, an AEO, and the FTE was not able to make real-time intervention because they did not have real-time data. And now, with the AI exam checker that has been launched in all the public schools of Islamabad, a teacher can just scan a student's assessment, upload it on their platform. The student data is already embedded in that application, and a real-time weekly basis and monthly basis learning data can be obtained. And then जो FDE है या जो मिनिस्ट्री है वो ये फैसला कर सकते हैं कि अच्छा हमें किस एरिया में किस जगह पे किस तरह की इंटरवेंशन करनी है. So like really being surgical in how we are operating. And this is the dashboard that we have created for the government to visualize the data. And I think I'll just close off that our idea at NIET is to be really really surgical in the intervention that we make, and not adopt the approach to throw everything and see what sticks. And already the FDE has acted on this kind of intervention, where it has hired 211 new teachers and have converted 50 morning schools to evening schools, based on the data that we have been providing. And I think lastly, my last point will be that even though we have been doing this work really requires the help of everybody. And I think this work cannot be done alone. We at NIET are looking to collaborate with all the relevant stakeholders so that we are really able to make that impact. So yeah, thank you so much.